everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video. So I've been gone for a minute and I do apologize for that. I've had a lot going on, y'all. I've had a lot going on, especially with school, but anyway, that might be another video for another day. But I wanted to get on here and talk about everything that's going on with Sha'Carri Richardson. So for those of you who don't know who Sha'Carri Richardson is, she is an athlete. She does track, and I don't really know a whole bunch about like sports. Like, I don't follow sports. I don't follow like the Olympics or anything leading up to the Olympics. I don't really keep up with all of that, but you know, I kind of get like the gist of it from social media. And so basically, Sha'Carri had went viral for a race that she did that qualified her to run in the Olympics, and you know, everybody was just, you know, all for it. They were really rooting her on. Like, she really gained a lot of I don't know if you want to call it fame, but I guess you could say she gained a lot of fame and a lot of support, especially from the Black community, when she won that, right? And so again, like, her name has been out there on social media, right? And she's gotten a lot of attention. And so recently she had tested positive for weed, and she basically was taken out of the Olympics because of it, because it's, you know, against the rules to do any sort of substance or whatever when you are participating in these events. And people are really upset. I think one of the initial articles that had came out, it had identified weed as an enhancement drug, and you know, people have been saying that that's like not the case, which is not the case. Like, I don't think weed makes you run faster, but that's what had came out initially. And I think that's maybe well, either way, like, she wasn't supposed to smoke weed, you know, at all. And apparently the only reason why she did that is because she had just recently found out that her mother passed away. And then come to find out, she found out from a reporter that her mother passed away. I couldn't even like imagine how I would not only take the news of my mother passing away, but then also from a random reporter. Like, that's just weird. But anyway, you know, with her being hit with all of that, you know, she kind of resorted to that to kind of just, you know, keep her nerves calm, and that was her way of coping. Like, that was her coping mechanism. It might not have been the smartest or the healthiest way to cope, but that is how she coped with it. And Sha'Carri has, you know, come out and basically admitted to it, and she just was like, listen, like, I'm a human being, like, I made a mistake. And so she recognizes the fact that she made this mistake, and she's owning it. She hasn't like been, you know, denying it or anything like that. Like, she's, you know, she's aware of her mistake, she acknowledges it, and you know, like, it is what it is. And there's a lot of people that are calling for this to be revoked. People want Sha'Carri to be able to still participate in the Olympics, and that she shouldn't be taken out because of weed. Now, I feel like multiple ways about this, right? Because do I think that an athlete should be kicked out of the Olympics altogether because they smoked some weed? No, not necessarily, especially if where she was at, it was legal to do so. Then I don't see I don't think that they should have went as far as to take her out of the Olympics. However, rules are rules. And the Olympics, you know, the Olympics isn't like just an American thing, it's an international thing. And so again, rules are rules. And if these have been the rules, you know, the whole time, and this isn't just something that they came up with, you know, out the blue to take people out of the Olympics, then yeah, I mean, and again, Sha'Carri And I know I'm saying her name right because there was a video that went around where she corrected people on how to pronounce her name, so I'm saying it correctly. Sha'Carri, again, like she admitted that she made a mistake. She said that, like, yes, these were the rules. I know these were the rules and I broke them, and I'm human and I made a mistake. And so, you know, like, again, like, it's hard because it just sucks because everybody was really rooting for her. And I know that she really wanted this more than anything. And, you know, I hope that maybe with the public outcry that she'll get a second chance, because I also think too, again, like with the Olympics and with any type of major sports event, you know, they can't thrive without us. They can't thrive without the audience, without people watching, without people supporting. Like, without us, there would be no sporting events. Like, you can't really have sporting events without the audience and the fans supporting it, right? And so you have everybody that is, you know, against the Olympics and, you know, is refusing to watch, refusing to support because of Sha'Carri. I would not be surprised if they decided to go back on their decision and bring her back in order to get that viewership. And so, you know, I am hoping that she will get a second chance, because I can only imagine everything that she's going through right now with her mother passing away, all of this new fame and new attention that she's getting. And then on top of that, having this mistake take her out of her dream. And so, you know, you have that aspect of it, right? But now, apparently, and I'm gonna try to find these tweets and put them up on screen, but now it's coming out that Sha'Carri has a history of problematic tweets. Most of the ones that I've seen were very homophobic. And again, it's just like, you know, it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate because, you know, it's sad because it just seems like everybody that gets into the spotlight, everybody that gets a platform, it always comes out that they had a problematic past. And, you know, it's almost getting to the point where it's like, is this just normal? Like, is this just, is it expected? You know, that, you know, all these people who, you know, get into fame or whatever, they end up just having like some really messed up views. And, you know, I'm all for people evolving and changing over time. I don't think that for most people, you don't stay the same person that you were, you know, years ago or even a year ago. Like, I can even say for me, like, I'm a completely different person than I was a year ago. I'm in a completely different headspace. And I can honestly say for me, like, I've never had any, you know, like, I know I don't have any, you know, racist or homophobic or transphobic tweets out there. I've never had that kind of past. I've never been that kind of person. You will not find anything like that on any timeline of mine, okay? But, you know, people love to say that, you know, oh, well, times were different back then, and oh, I was a different person back then. But here's the thing with Sha'Carri, right? Because I think I don't know how old Sha'Carri is, but I believe she's around my age. But again, I'm just guessing. But either way, so the first tweet that I saw was from 2015. 2015 is still fairly current. It's still current. It's still relevant. It was only like, what, 6 years ago? 2015 is not long enough to use the excuse of, oh, well, things were different, and, you know, this is the way that people used to talk, and the world wasn't as sensitive then. Now, granted, yes, is the world super sensitive today? Absolutely. But there's really no excuse. I mean, again, like, the year doesn't matter, but, you know, again, like, when these tweets come out, right, you'll see that it came out like a decade ago or a decade plus ago, and people kind of sort of understand that the climate was different, right? 2015 was not that long ago. And again, I believe people can change. I feel like people can change from month to month, year to year. But when it comes to homophobia, transphobia, racism, like, you know, like all of that stuff is like deep rooted. it's ingrained in you. It comes from a place like it's much deeper, you know. And I feel like if those are your real true feelings, those feelings don't just go away, especially if that's the way that you view certain groups behind closed doors, and no one's ever like checked you on it, or maybe the people around you are enabling that kind of mindset. Because a lot of times what happens is that when you have these people who have these problematic past, or they have these problematic views, they don't really get checked on it until they get called out, you know, by the public and by the media. And then at that point, just to kind of save face or save their career, that's when they'll address it and say that it was wrong, and they'll say that they'll do better. But up until then, they've just been keeping this to themselves behind closed doors, and then this was, you know, how they always were. And so again, I don't know Sha'Carri. None of us know Sha'Carri personally. I don't know if since those tweets she has since, you know, did some self-work, did some self-reflection, and changed her views at all. But again, typically that's highly unlikely. But yeah, like I just think it's unfortunate. And even though I don't like the fact that she made these tweets, and I do think that she should be held accountable, and I do think that people who have those types of views shouldn't be they shouldn't have a platform. They shouldn't have a platform. They shouldn't have a whole bunch of brand deals if that's the type of mindset that they have, right? So that's like one part of it. But then the other part of it too is like, because I feel like two things can be true at the same time. Like, her tweets can be horrible and awful, and she should be held accountable for it. But then also at the same time, it is still a case of when a Black person is, you know, when they're, you know, achieving something, and then when they are making an impact in the world, you always have those people that, you know, go and they dig and they find something. They find something to destroy them and to take them down and to prevent them from succeeding. That can be true also. And I do think that that's the case, because again, if it was anybody else that wasn't getting all this attention, if it was, you know, some regular white athlete, I mean, let's keep it real, no one would care. No one would dig up old tweets, like, you know what I'm saying? And so I honestly don't think that we would even know about this, or it would even be brought to light, if it wasn't for her getting as much notoriety as she's getting. And so yeah, I just think this whole situation is just a lot. It's a lot. It's very complicated. It's very complex. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel at this point. I mean, I'm always going to empathize with people and their mental health. And, you know, like, it's just unfortunate. And, you know, again, I do feel for her, but at the same time, she, you know, she did say these things. She did say these things, and she should be held accountable for it. Now, again, when I say held accountable, I don't necessarily mean like canceling or whatever, but she should have to address it. And I think that she should, if these are still her views, then something does need to happen there. I don't know exactly what, but you know, it's not cool. It's not cool that she said those things. It's not cool that she did that. But also, I just don't believe in just like tearing people down either. You know, like, for me, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I kind of just take a personal approach, and I just decide for myself whether or not I want to support someone or something, like a business. You know, like when businesses, you know, have problematic past, or their CEOs are supporting certain movements that I don't agree with, I can make the personal choice not to support that business. And the same thing goes for people. You know, like celebrities, like a celebrity gets canceled for something, I can make the conscious decision to not support that particular person. R. Kelly, for example, I don't listen to R. Kelly's music at all. It will never come across my, you know, Spotify playlist. I do not listen to R. Kelly anymore at all. I don't even really listen to Chris Brown like that. Like, there's certain people where if I don't really agree with their past and what they've done, I just don't support them. And so same thing goes for this. If you are disappointed in Sha'Carri's, tweets and actions, and you don't want to support her anymore, then that's your business. But don't go on her social media and start bashing her, and because that's whack. Like, you don't need to do that. Just decide for yourself, what you want to do. If you still want to continue to support her, do that. If you don't want to support her, then do that as well. But yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts on everything that is going on. Make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.